webinar this afternoon. I think we're going to get things started now. Thank you for your patience. Today we're going to be sharing ways that we can work together and utilize National Mentoring Month to raise awareness of mentoring on a local level and then also across the state of Vermont. I thought I'd start the call off here by introducing myself. My name is Benji Thurber. I'm the Communications and Technology Manager here at Mobius, Vermont's Mentoring Partnership. I'm also joined on the call by our Executive Director, Chad Butt, and our Communications and Technology Specialist and AmeriCorps Vista member, Darren Blake. There's going to be the opportunity throughout the call for programs to participate in the call more actively and ask questions and just speak to the group. But based on past experience, we're going to mute everyone's microphones and just allow whoever is speaking to sort of have the floor here. We're handling things this way just because we don't want to pick up background noise and echoes during the call, and we want to make sure that everybody has just a clear listening experience. We encourage you throughout the call to use the GoToMeeting chat feature to ask any questions that come up along the way, and that way we can make sure that we address them all at the end of the call. So the first thing I'm going to do here is just kind of walk us through what we're going to be talking about today. So first of all, I'm going to give you just kind of a general overview of National Mentoring Month and what's happening in Vermont and what we're going to cover during the call. Some of the things that we're going to talk about are free campaign materials that we're going to make available to programs across the state. Some of these are things that we have in partnership with Mentor, and others are things that we've designed with more local branding. We also have put together a social media guide sheet just so that you'll be able to, at a local level, promote your program and also kind of tie into the national conversations that are happening on Facebook and Twitter throughout the month. We also have a series of other documents that we have that we can share to help you promote your program. We'll be sending out a press release throughout the state. We have a media alert template that we're going to be going over just to kind of use as an example for ways that programs can promote their individual events to local media outlets. We're going to talk a little bit about organizing benefit dinners to promote your program and to raise money during National Mentoring Month. And then our AmeriCorps Vista member, Darren, is going to go through and talk a little the Vermont Mentoring newsletter, our events calendar, and social media, and just different ways that by sharing your event information with us, we can help get the word out through our venues. Our executive director is going to talk a little bit about advocating for mentoring with state representatives and state senators. Just talk a little bit about efforts to raise awareness of mentoring and using National Mentoring Month to help leverage future funding for mentoring in the state. And lastly, we'll be answering questions that programs have throughout the call. And I also thought there might be an opportunity for programs who have organized National Mentoring Month events in the past to kind of just share things that worked well for them and things that didn't, and just get some dialogue going with the group. So the first thing I'm going to do here is bring us over to our website and show you where you're going to be able to actually track down all of these materials after the call. So if you go to the Mobius homepage, mobiusmentors.org, you'll see that right now we have this slider up that gives you the link to RSVP for the Vermont Mentoring Month webinar. We're going to change this to link directly to the Mentoring Month toolkit that we're going over today. So if I click on this slider or go to Resources for Programs and select Vermont Mentoring Month Toolkit from the menu, it will bring you to this page here that gives you an overview of National Mentoring Month and then also has hyperlinks to download all the different documents and information that we're going to talk about today. So without further ado, I'm going to break into kind of our guide, which is an overview of National Mentoring Month for Vermont programs. So if you click on the hyperlink from our website, you can either view it here or download it. So just to give you a little bit of background on National Mentoring Month, it's a national campaign that's been around for, it's now in its 13th year. And it's designed to thank mentors and also recruit new volunteers and basically raise awareness of the cause. It's spearheaded by a bunch of national partners, the Harvard School of Public Health, Mentor, which is the National Mentoring Partnership, the Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention, United Way Worldwide, and the Corporation for National and Community Service, which many of you may be familiar with because it's the parent organization for AmeriCorps. In Vermont, Mobius is the state mentoring partnership. And so we partner with Mentor to gain access to materials from the national campaign and to sort of help distribute them on a local level. We're also working to just to promote National Mentoring Month activities that programs around the state are doing and just to raise public awareness of mentoring in Vermont during January. So the theme for this year's campaign is Mentoring Works. And basically, what we're looking to do throughout the month is highlight the proven benefits that mentoring provides for young people in Vermont, which includes improved school and class attendance according to national research, better relationships with peers and family members, and what I think is the most important thing here is a greater sense of connectedness to their schools and overall communities. Our overall goal is to start mentoring locally and also just to get more people involved with mentoring. There are close to 100 mentoring programs that are serving 3,000 mentoring matches in the state, but we still estimate that there are more than 9,000 young people between the ages of 5 and 18 who would benefit from having a mentor. The 2014 campaign has more of a personal touch to it, which I think is pretty cool. The recruitment message that's carried throughout this year's materials that were distributed from Mentor and the national mentoring partners have this common message of be someone who matters to someone who matters. And this message I really think is at the core of the quality mentoring relationships that we work together to support. And you'll see that the images here are all featuring specific pairs. They're doing activities together. And it all contains the same general messaging. Now I'm going to step back from that a little bit and kind of talk a little bit about what we're doing here in Vermont and how your program could benefit from National Mentoring Month. So I'll start by saying just what's going on as far as mentoring PSAs and advertising in the state. As a part of our connection with Mentor, media outlets throughout Vermont have agreed to play national mentoring PSAs throughout the month of January. Mobius is also going to be running ads throughout the month. They're promoting the statewide mentoring movement, and we're actually looking to create a new PSA that over the next few weeks, it's going to direct people to the program directory on our website and hopefully draw more people to your individual programs. The second bullet that I have here is complementary print materials. And so each year, Mentor and the national partners put together a list of print materials that can be distributed to the national, to mentoring partnerships on the state level, like Mobius, to distribute to programs all around the state to use just to promote the cause throughout the month. And so this year we have bookmarks and posters with branding from the national campaign, and then Mobius has also designed business card-sized handouts that are Vermont specific and lead people to the program directory on our website. Throughout the month, we're going to be doing a lot of media outreach to really get the mentoring cause out in the press. At the end of December, we're going to be issuing a statewide press release announcing National Mentoring Month in Vermont, and we're also working with members of the Program Leadership Council, which is a group of mentoring programs from around the state to help advise Mobius's work. And we're going to be working with them to create localized versions of this press release that are specific to different regions of the state. We're also going to be working to promote your events in the media, and we encourage you to also use our media alert template as a kind of like a starting point for taking your events and going to your local reporters and other media outlets and sharing information. Throughout the month, if you have anything that you would like to help us get out in the news, feel free to reach out, and we can do whatever we can to promote your good work and to try to get your stories out in the press. We're also going to be talking today about social media. So mentoring organizations throughout the country are going to be posting about mentoring on Facebook and Twitter. And there's a calendar to the national campaign, and there's some specific dates that are designed just for social media purposes to kind of like highlight different aspects of mentoring. Our AmeriCorps member, Karen, is going to talk a little bit more about that a little later on in this call. And we also have a social media guide sheet that programs can download that she's going to be going over at that point. Event promotion. So if you send us information about your events in advance, we can promote them in our newsletter, on our web, and through social media. Darren's going to be talking a little bit more about that later in the call as well. Lastly, we're going to be talking about advocacy. So connecting with your local representatives and state senators. National Mentoring Month is a great opportunity to raise awareness of the cause in the state government and advocate for increased funding. So Chad's going to actually spend a little bit of time talking a little bit more about that and how working together we may be able to leverage more funding for mentoring in the future. Lastly, on this list, we have just important dates for the campaign throughout the month. And so this is kind of national dates just to give you a sense of what's happening all around the country. So January 9th is I'm a Mentor Day. On the 13th, Mentor is releasing a big report just on the national, basically what's going on with mentoring on a national level. So it's called the National Mentoring Report. Mobius is organizing Vermont Mentoring Celebration at the State House, which we know is going to happen in mid-January, but we don't have a date finalized yet. And hopefully we'll have that information together by the end of the week. Thank Your Mentor Day is January 16th. January 20th is Martin Luther King Day, of course, and we're going to be working with our national partners to, at least on social media and possibly through other means, using that data to specifically highlight mentoring as well. And lastly, at the end of the month, Mentor organizes the National Mentoring Summit in Washington, D.C. So at this point, I'm actually going to switch back over to our agenda here and talk a little bit about the campaign material specifically. So as I mentioned before, we have bookmarks and posters from our national partners and business card size handouts from Mobius. And I just wanted to give you a quick sense of what they look like. So these are the bookmarks here. This is what the poster looks like on the slide. And lastly, we have the Vermont-specific business card size handout that we've designed. And so these are all going to be available on our website, either for you to download from these links here, or you can also use a form to order the hard copy versions that we have available. And you can either pick them up from our office or we can send them to you. But please use the link here to fill out this form and just give us more information about what you're looking for. So we're looking to hear from people by Friday, December 28th, for anyone who's interested in getting free print materials to distribute throughout the month. So at this point in the call, I'm actually going to pass things over to our Executive Director, Chad, quickly to talk a little bit about the State House event that we're hoping to organize later in January.
Hi, everybody. So thanks for all being on the call here. I just wanted to chat a little bit. So we've been working with Ann Galvin, who's actually a mentor down with the Mentor Connector down in Rutland, and is also a state representative. And she's working with us to get a State House event where a proclamation about National Mentoring Month can be read on the House floor. We're hoping that's going to happen, as Benji said, in mid-January. And it would be during the day, and it would be open to anybody that would like to be there, be open to the public, but hoping that program coordinators can come, and if mentors are around, they can come. And if there's youth that live in that area that they feel could be educational for them to actually get out of school to go to that event, we're hoping to have them present as well. But just trying to bring awareness about mentoring to everybody at the State House to make everybody's life a little bit easier when we're advocating for more funding, which we'll get into a little bit later on during this. But let's pass things back over to Benji.
Thank you, Chad. So at this point, I think we're going to talk a little bit more about the social media guide sheet that I mentioned earlier. So I'm actually going to pass things over to our AmeriCorps Vista member, Darren, and she's going to walk us through that sheet.
Hi, everybody. This is Darren. I'm the AmeriCorps Vista serving here at Mobius this year. So we've put together a really short 2-page social media guide sheet. And the idea behind this is that there's some really easy-to-use materials that the national partners have provided for us. And so all that we've done in this guide sheet is tailored them a little bit so that you can easily copy and paste them into Facebook, into Twitter, on your website, whatever you'd like to do. And you can highlight what's going on with your own program. You can highlight your own events while also tying into the national campaign. So as Benji mentioned before, the campaign message this year is Be Someone Who Matters to Someone Who Matters. And so the hashtags Mentoring Works and Someone Who Matters are going to be used all across the country by mentoring programs to really connect messaging. And that way, if someone searches for these hashtags, they'll see everything that everyone's posting across the country, and that's a nice way for us to get the things that we're doing in Vermont out nationwide. Don't forget that if you have events that you would like us to help you promote, you can email me at darren@mobiusmentors.org, or you can fill out an event submission form, which is on that website that Benji passed along to you earlier. Benji, if you can just scroll up a little bit. So on the first page, we have some sample Facebook messages. And as you can see, there's space for you to put your own program's information. It's really simple to copy and paste, and of course you can tailor these however you'd like. It's really just an easy way to make this not a lot of work for you to do. And then if we go to the second page, there's a few sample tweets that you can use if you're using Twitter. This is a great way to connect with other mentoring programs in other states, I found. And so in these second two tweets, you'll see that there's 3 bullets. In the second one, that link is going to take someone to our mentoring events calendar. And the mentoring events calendar is something we'll talk a little bit more in depth about later, but that is where we can help you publicize your events. It's a calendar that we have on our website all the time, and anyone can go check out all of the things that are happening across Vermont. And in the third bullet, that short link at the end is going to take anyone who clicks on it to our Becoming a Mentor part of the Mobius webpage, which will also help visitors find programs in their areas in Vermont. There's 2 days that the national partners have identified that we can use to kind of target our social media messaging and get audiences thinking about the really personal and inspirational work that mentors are doing. So January 9th is I Am a Mentor Day, and that's a day when mentors are encouraged to share their stories and their experiences about mentoring through social media. January 16th is Thank Your Mentor Day. So that's a great opportunity to share stories about someone who's mentored you in your life and really get everyone thinking about how mentors affect everyone and can really influence everyone. If you'd like more social media materials, Mentor has a full National Mentoring Month toolkit, and that link is also in the social media guide sheet. And then at the bottom here, we have a few of the infographics and badges that are provided within that toolkit. These are really great images. I think they have a lot of good information in them. And you can download them at that website and include them in your posts on Facebook or Twitter. You can put them on your website. It's a good way to get that information out there. And I will hand it back to Benji.
Thank you, Darren. If you guys have any questions about this guide sheet, as I said before, you can download it from the website, from that just overall toolkit page. You can also feel free to email Darren at mobiusmentors.org if you have any questions throughout the month. So now I'm actually going to go through this next section and talk about ways that specifically Mobius can help you promote your program. So we have a series of different bullets here that refer to documents that we have on the website that I can go through. So I mentioned before that Mobius is putting out a press release at the end of the month just announcing National Mentoring Month and working to get awareness of the cause and the month out in the media. So that at this point, that link isn't live yet on our website, But when that is live, we're going to post our statewide version of the press release, and then we're also hoping to have some more localized versions as well. And so the idea is that you can take the version of the press release that's most relevant to your area and use that to, when you're looking to promote your own events throughout the month, you can include that release to sort of give a larger context to what's going on throughout the state. The other document that I wanted to talk about that's press related here is the media alert template that I put together. This is just kind of a sample of something that a program could use to promote a National Mentoring Month event in the media. And so you can access this document just by clicking on the link on the website. And basically what it is it's just kind of like a quick bullets, like a who, what, where, when, why, how, what's going on in the event, who to contact, and it's just kind of a quick hitting way to let a reporter or a television contact just get a sense of what's going on at your event. And so I've given kind of some examples here of an event that would be like a benefit dinner for mentoring. And also if you had like an important person attending the event. So in this case I used Coach Tom Brennan, the former UVM men's basketball coach, as somebody who could be a keynote speaker at the event. So that might be something that would be relevant to the media person. But this is set up as a Word document, so you can go in and customize as you see fit, and use whatever parts of this work for your program. We're just trying to make things easier for people as they are trying to put together their own outreach efforts on a local level. And if you want, you can contextualize things by sort of tying it to the national mentoring movement, and then also sort of what Mobius is doing to organize National Mentoring Month activities around the state. I've included a link to our website here too. And you'll see where I have this box. I think it always makes sense to include a visual when you're sending something out to the media, something that will draw people's attention. Usually a mentor pair is a great thing to include in this section here. And then it's always good to kind of brand it with your logo and tagline if you have one at the bottom here. And also to give a shout out to, if you have somebody hosting an event for you, to make sure that you're including them in this outreach as well. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is the benefit dinner how-to sheet that I mentioned earlier. So Mobius has had experience in the past, and as have mentoring programs throughout the state, in organizing benefit dinners to support mentoring. And so what I've done is kind of put together a one-pager on what that looks like and sort of how to target people to make this happen. And so we found that a good starting point was to contact businesses that you have connection to or who have supported mentoring or your program in other ways in the past. So that could be something like in-kind donations like food or gift certificates. And make sure you make use of your mentors and advisory council members who have connections to these restaurants as well. And many restaurants also, if you go online or if you call or email, a lot of these places actually have existing benefit dinner programs in place. So sometimes it's just a matter of searching and finding the places that are actively looking to support the community already. But as far as the sample model goes, we found that restaurants usually either agree to do like a percentage of the night's proceeds, somewhere between 10 and 15%, or do it like a set amount off of each pizza or entree sold throughout the night, so probably like a couple dollars off, somewhere between $2 and $3. In the events that we've helped organize in the past, the restaurant would also provide space for programs to highlight mentoring throughout the night. So a place for you to put out your promotional materials, and then also an opportunity for you to be there in person and talk to people and just tell them a little bit more about mentoring and get them to sign up if they're interested in learning more. And something that I found especially effective is a lot of these restaurants will include inserts, like a story of a mentoring pair that's especially enticing, and contact information for getting involved. So like a sheet that can be included in each menu for the night. Or something that could be like a bookmark or a business card size handout that they could give out in the check at the end of the night. As far as how to promote your event, I think it really goes in line with a lot of the stuff that we were talking about before, sharing things on Facebook and Twitter. Mobius is happy to help get information about these events out to the public as well for our social media, website, and on our newsletter as well. As far as local ways you may want to think about doing this in your own area, school newsletters, local newspapers, Front Porch Forum is actually pretty effective as well. And in addition to sort of giving you this outline of like what it looks like to organize one of these dinners, we are happy to assist and try to put our heads together and see if we can help you organize this in other ways as well. Just feel free to contact us if you're interested in setting something like this up, and we can work with you to help make it happen, and also just tell you a little bit more about some other dinners around the state that are happening too, to see if we can help leverage connections and see if it makes sense to organize things on similar nights and tie things into the larger National Mentoring Month movement around the state. At this point in the call, I'm actually going to switch things back over to Darren, and she's going to talk a little bit more specifically about the Vermont Mentoring newsletter, and then also our events calendar and social media, just ways that we can help you get the word out to people around the state.
Hello again. So the Vermont Mentoring newsletter is something that we've been working on since September. It's a statewide newsletter, and we're really looking to highlight what's going on with different programs across the state. And so Benji's taking us right now to our archives, where you can go and you can see our September, October, and November editions. Right now I'm working on putting together the December edition, and I'm still looking for content, especially National Mentoring Month content. If you have an event coming up, you can email it to me at darren@mobiusmentors.org. I'm looking to have that content by this Thursday. We're in a bit of a time crunch for the newsletter, actually, so that we can get that out in time for people to see it. And beyond that, we also have the mentoring calendar. The mentoring event calendar is on our website, so Benji's taking us to that right now. And so right now we're looking at December, and now we're in January. So these are some of the National Mentoring Month events that we've already heard about and that we've put up. And feel free to share this calendar through your social media, through everything, because we can help you promote your events. So let's see. On the 24th, this is SD Mentoring. Susie's holding an art show and book fair at Barnes & Noble. I think the art show is all month long, and then the book fair will be on this date. And so if you have anything that you'd like us to put on this calendar, just send it my way, and I can put it up for you. And again, through social media, we're more than happy to help you. We can share anything that you put up. We can put up a separate post. You can use this online form to send us the information so that we can get that up on the calendar and on social media. This is the event submission form. So really basic, just info about the event and who people should contact if they want to sign up or if they want more information. And if you have any questions, just send me an email and we can work to get your information out there. So at this point, I will give it back to Benji.
Thank you, Darren. One thing I wanted to just quickly mention in addition to what Darren was discussing with us a minute ago is that in addition to the December edition of the Vermont Mentoring newsletter, we're also going to be sending out a special press release at the beginning of January, sort of like announcing National Mentoring Month, but then we're also going to include a link to our event calendar and then just giving people the ability to have more information about all the events that are happening around the state. So definitely get us your event information as soon as you can, and we'll add it to the list and make sure that we promote it starting at the beginning of January. So for the next section of this call, I'm actually going to have Chad take over here and tell us a little bit about efforts to advocate for mentoring that will start in January and ways that we can partner together to help raise awareness of mentoring.
Hey, everybody. So National Mentoring Month is just a great way for us to really get out there and promote mentoring and make sure the representatives and senators in the State House are aware of all the great work that you all are doing. And we feel that National Mentoring Month might just be the right time to launch into that. So I mentioned earlier that there would be a State House event, which will sort of make sure that we're doing things in their home there to make sure that they are seeing us and realizing what's going on around the state. We're also working to try to get the governor to read a proclamation earlier in the month, and we'll see if we can pull that off, which would be another way. But really looking to have each program advocate for what they're doing, but also the statewide funding that comes from mentoring. So we currently received this year $170,000 from the state that goes directly out through Mobius to mentoring programs through the Vermont mentoring grants process. And every year we're trying to make sure that money stays put with budgets being tight, but ideally that money can grow back up to where it was above $200,000 in the years past. So what we'll be doing in January is emailing out to each program with a contact sheet of the representatives and senators that are in their catchment area for each of your programs with their contact information, and also along with that would be talking points and a one-pager that you'll be able to actually send to senators and representatives. But the idea here really is to just make sure that the senators and representatives that you may know already, but make sure that they know what's going on in their area, so that when it comes around to supporting funding for mentoring, they realize all the great work that's going on in their areas that they represent. So that will be coming out in January, with the idea that it's not just going to be a one-time National Mentoring Month thing. Ideally, we would actually love for programs to be on, monthly communication with their representatives and senators to make sure that they're constantly aware throughout the year what's going on. Programs mentioned that they're excited to email senators and representatives to invite them to that they're holding their National Mentoring Month, or just come see programming, or even possibly ask them to be mentors. There's representatives out there that are mentors already. That's a great way to make sure that folks are aware. So that's sort of what we're looking at, really trying to launch this with National Mentoring Month, but we'll be making life easy for everybody by sending out contact information in case you don't have it for folks you should be in touch with, and also talking points and a one-pager that you can send along. We're happy to help you with this, but really feel that as much advocacy as Mobius can do, it's very important that the mentoring programs that are actually directly working with youth are in touch with their local representatives. So back over to Benji here.
Thank you, Chad. So at this point in the call, I thought it might be nice to kind of pause and get everybody else here involved in the dialogue and see if there are any mentoring programs on right now who have had past mentoring events during National Mentoring Month, or who are organizing events this month, who might want to share some ideas and just successes that they've had with the rest of the group. So I'm going to go ahead and experiment here and unmute everybody and see if it works out. If it doesn't, I'm going to mute everybody again and just try to unmute people individually. Okay, so anybody who's interested in talking, feel free to jump in. Okay, so I can go ahead then. Oh, I'm getting an echo right now, so I'm actually going to put people back on mute. I see that Catherine Shahan from Howard Center Community Friends had a question here specifically about different grocery store chains and stores that ask people if they want to donate $1 to mentoring. I know I've seen that at places like Rite Aid and I think Shaw's has done this in the past too. Have a deal with like a specific nonprofit where you can choose to donate money or round up your purchase to the nearest dollar to support mentoring or to support a specific cause. I'm not sure, Catherine, that's a really good question on how successful these are. It's definitely something that's worth looking into, and if anybody has any ideas or connections on this, I think that we would love to learn more about it and share information with the rest of the group. I know one thing that we did in the past was we partnered with City Market last year, and they actually, if people use reusable bags instead of getting paper or plastic bags with their purchases, they actually donate the cost of the bag to a nonprofit. And we were actually able to raise, I think, a fair amount of money, close to, I think it was over $1,000 from that fundraiser. So I have a feeling that these fundraisers, they're harder to find, I think, than the benefit dinner setup that we talked about earlier, but they're definitely fruitful, and so I would say that they're worth pursuing. Does anybody else have any questions at this point in the call? Feel free to write them in the chat box in the GoToMeeting menu here. Thank you, Catherine. Yes, I would definitely be willing to put in some time doing some research into some of these events with grocery store chains and other stores around the state to see if it's something that might be beneficial for programs to benefit from. Looks like you guys are a bit of a quiet group today. I hope that the webinar has been useful to you so far, and it's probably also a lot of information to process too. Oh, Catherine, thank you. So I see Catherine saying that she's going to be holding a pizza party and open gym time for mentors and mentees at the last week of the month. Catherine, is that something that would be open to other mentoring programs in the area as well? I'm actually going to unmute you if you want to talk a little bit about it. Okay, Catherine, you're free to speak if you're able to on your end. Oh, okay, sorry. On my end, it looks like you do have the ability to speak into a mic, but I guess you don't. Anyway, as we said before, any event like that, especially something that's that could be opened up to other mentoring programs as well. But regardless, we would love to get information about that so that we can put it out to the public and just help you promote everything that's happening during January and really throughout the year as well. We're really trying to increase our efforts to promote what programs are doing throughout the year and just really not only to promote the cause, but just to highlight what specific volunteers are doing as well. So any information you have, feel free to send it along.
Unmuted. Benji?
Hello, everyone.
Benji, this is Bonnie from Everybody Wins.
Hi, Bonnie. How are you?
Hi, good. I'm sorry I'm on the phone, not on the computer, so I couldn't type my event. But we have a annual readathon in Montpelier on Saturday, January 25th. If anybody, for any mentoring pairs or anybody that wants to come, it's a great event from 1 to 3:30 p.m.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. That sounds like a great event. And we definitely like to help get the word out on that as well. And Amanda, thank you for sharing information about your event as well. It's good to hear all these different ideas that programs are doing to have mentor pairs do activities together throughout January. And the podcast idea actually sounds really cool. Do you mind talking to the group a little bit about what the program's envisioning with that?
Are you talking to me?
Yes, Amanda?
Oh.
Okay, it looks like Amanda might not have the ability to speak on the call right now. I'm not sure.
Hey, Benji, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, so we have a new associate stepping in, and one of his projects, he's going to be our communication outreach person, and we're hoping that he puts together a podcast. There's a great training going on our campus in January. So our hope is that he gets to talk to different mentors and mentees and just sort of get this idea about why sort of maybe we can advise him to use some of the same strategies, why mentoring works, and maybe using that for some inspiration, and maybe we can tag along with some of the national themes, and we'd be happy to share that as that comes to fruition.
Yeah, that sounds like a really cool idea. I just thought that might be something worth sharing with the rest of the group, and it might be something that other programs could look at trying in the future too if it goes well.
Definitely.
Okay, does anybody else have any questions or just things that they'd like to share about what's going on in their area during January? Thank you very much for sharing, Susie. If you want to talk a little bit about the casual gala, feel free to chime in. Okay, sorry. It looks like Susie might not have the ability to talk right now. It looks like she might just be on her computer without a mic. But definitely, South Burlington Mentoring is hosting a great event on January 11th, and it would be great to see everybody there. You can contact Susie for more information about it. She left her email address and phone number here, and we also have information about the event on our website as well, if people are interested in learning more. Thank you, Susie. I think at this point, if people don't have any other questions, it might be time for us to wrap up the call. But feel free to chime in quickly if you guys have anything else you'd like to talk about before we end. I do want to just quickly remind you all of how to track down this information after the call. You can go to our website, so that's mobiusmentors.org. And on our homepage, right now, as I said before, this slider is a link to just RSVP for this webinar. But as soon as we're done here, I'm going to change this so that it goes directly to the toolkit that I showed you earlier. You can also find by going to Resources for Programs and then Vermont Mentoring Month Toolkit. And that will give you access to all of the things that we talked about on the call today. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. And feel free to reach out if you have any questions on any of the things that we talked about. If you have anything that comes up that you'd like to promote through the media, through our media outlets, or otherwise, we're definitely happy to help in any way that we can. And we look forward to having a great National Mentoring Month. Thank you, everyone, for being on the call.
Thanks, Benji.